In this video, we're going to go over a few principles as they apply to sales, and that's really the end goal of charging as high of a price as we possibly can for the services that we provide, right? There's a couple things, a couple psychological principles that lend themselves to sales and exactly that, charging as high of a price as possible for the services. Those are reciprocity, anchoring, and scarcity. Okay, so these are three principles to keep in mind whenever you're having sales conversations or giving a sales presentation, whatever it is. These things are going to help us charge as high of a price as possible. So reciprocity is the feeling of indebtedness that a person has when they receive a gift from someone, right? So something that we can do to encourage this feeling is, for instance, giving the prospect or a customer, forget-me-not flower seeds, right? These are forget-me-nots, plant them in the spring, forget-me-not, ha ha ha. Nice little cheesy line. It's less than $1 for us to give that person a gift, and us giving them a gift makes them feel indebted to us, right? That's the principle of reciprocity. So we should include that in more or less every sales conversation or every in-person interaction even. We should really strive to give that person the forget-me-not flower seeds in order to encourage the feeling of reciprocity. Secondly is the concept of anchoring. Anchoring is a negotiation tactic where the first number that's put into that conversation, that negotiation conversation, oftentimes skews the following numbers after that, right? So in our case, how we can apply anchoring is, for instance, going over the quote from the most expensive option to the least expensive option. Because going over and anchoring to the highest price point that we offer for a service tier is going to make each subsequent service tier or service option that much more palatable to that customer. Because maybe they're not willing to pay for the top rung option of the service, but us anchoring to the top rung and comparing the price of the top rung to the middle rung and the first rung, etc., maybe the middle rung and first rung are more palatable, more acceptable price points for that person, and therefore encourages them to ultimately choose something that was a higher price point than they maybe would have with a different service provider. So go over the price points or go over the quote from the most expensive to the least expensive service options. And that's how we're going to execute the concept of anchoring when it comes to home details. And lastly is the concept of scarcity. That is just that resources are in limited supply, right? This underlies human psychology, when it comes to food or mates, etc. Whatever it is, this totally applies to just human behavior. But we want to limit the availability of things, right? That's exactly how really premium really premium product brands, oftentimes they have like a product drop, right? They have some principle of scarcity, and that encourages people to spend more money as a result, right? So for instance, how we could apply scarcity in our case is communicating to that customer that there are limited slots available for, the gutter cleaning season before the next rainstorm, or for the Christmas light season before we stop Christmas light installations in mid-December. Whatever it is, there are limited slots available. Obviously, we have to have that be true for whatever service season it is. So those are a few things to keep in mind when we're trying to negotiate or sell a customer our services, are things like reciprocity, anchoring, and scarcity that we can use to encourage that customer to ultimately accept as high of a price as we can possibly charge.